This is Dave Meltzer with Entrepreneurs, the Playbook, and that's right, you're not seeing double vision, the ultimate twins, Haley and Hannah Cavinder. Welcome to the Playbook.
Hi, thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here. I've had so many different athletes on, and every once in a while, we got some killer twins on here, world champions and otherwise, but I have to tell you, with the 1,500 and some episodes, that I love your story. I love your story because not only are you guys both extraordinary athletes, but you've learned the game of community. And I maybe have a different perspective than a lot of people, but you guys are great at building community. Yes, you have brands, and yes, you have quote unquote followers, but that's a lot different than building a community. And I'd like to start off from each of you and get your perspective of, hey, Dave, you're full of shit. You know, we just have followers, or we're just really great brand people because you have all these great NIL deals. We'll talk about the WWE, my friend who owns Soul Juice, all the different companies you've worked for. But I see you guys as community builders. Is that part of your intention or perspective?
Yes, I think so. I think actually moving to Miami and kind of putting ourselves out there and really diving into the University of Miami and their community, I fell in love with it. And I think that even kind of helped Haley and I really understand what our brand is. And like you said, I think it is through community and just being able to connect with people. And that's what we try to do, is just try to share our passions, share our influence with our platform to the best of our ability. But yeah, I really like how you said that, honestly. So thank you. But
Thank you.
for sure, definitely through community. Yeah, I think that going off what you said in the beginning, we're young. We don't really know, getting following, then NIL passing. It's all new, and we're trying to take it day by day. But then as you go throughout the years, you understand, okay, like, what are you going to use your platform for? How are you going to use it after college and capitalizing off of it and building a good community and making connections? I think that's what me and Hannah try to do, just to our best ability, because that's all that matters, and how you be successful in the business world.
And within the context of building that community, I have a lot of twins in my family. I work with twin athletes a lot, and it's difficult to have an individual identity while you're building this community together. What are some of the things that you're doing that you still are empowered individually to make sure that it's just not always Haley and Hannah, but you guys have different skills, different knowledges, and different desires? Even though you look alike and you are twins, that doesn't mean that you're the exact same person. What are you doing to make sure that you keep your individual identities?
Right. That's actually a great question. I've actually never been asked that before, but I would say
that's what always my goal is, by the way. You just made my entire day.
Yes.
Ben Baller was one of early, I don't know if you guys know who that is, but yeah, Ben Baller said that to me early on in Katie Couric when I was interviewing. I'm like, okay, that's my new goal. If they can tell me they've never been asked that question, I'm doing my job. Sorry for interrupting.
No, you're totally good. But yeah, I would say, honestly, we've kind of, like you said, being a twin, you kind of are very dependent on each other. And I think, honestly, ending our basketball career has kind of made us learn so much more about each other independently. There's different skills that I'm good at, Hannah, than Haley versus Haley. And I think we just try to really focus on putting both of our, passions and ideas and come together. And obviously, we are growing our business together. So we have to see her point of view, my point of view, and just making it, one beautiful thing. And I think learning from each other and being able to connect that way is something really cool to see play out. So we're still learning, if that's the answer. Yeah, I think that going off what Hannah said, obviously we have different personalities. And so just balancing each other's like strengths and weaknesses and applying it into the business world is what we're learning, I think, day by day. Obviously, we're best friends and we have similar passions and interests. And I think being able to do that with your best friend, and like, that's a dream job for both of us. So I think, there's always difficulties and some arguments and stuff, but that's all about learning and growing and figuring out, like, okay, we're better together, we're more successful together, and Hannah and I know that. So I'm fine with Haley and Hannah, besides like only Haley.
I'm gonna send that to my girls, because my dream is for them always to say they're best friends, and that's not always easy, even if you're not a twin, to be best friends with your sister. Now you guys started a podcast as well, Twin Talk, And, starting off a podcast isn't always the easiest thing. I'll start with Haley because we've been leaning on the Hannah first. Haley, what was one of the lessons that you've learned from starting a podcast? Because coming from someone who's done thousands of them, it's not as easy as it looks. Was there something that you learned right off the bat?
I think something that I've learned is just to understand holding a conversation and being personable with someone that you've sometimes never even met and you have similar interests, and that's why you brought them on the show, or just understanding like the deeper side of people. I think that like other social media routes, you only get a little bit of a picture, or even on YouTube, it's all edited, but podcasts, I think, do a great job of like showing raw and who people are. And so I really enjoyed that when we started ours.
Anything you like, Hannah?
No, I like what Haley said. I think that you get to dive into the person a little bit deeper, have them share their story, connect them to your audience if they're new to them. So I think, just like Haley said, and I'm excited because we're continuing our podcast. It's going to be coming out soon in July. We took a little break, but it's going to come back up with better media. So we're very excited about that.
It's a great company and it's a great podcast, so I'm sure it'll be successful. Now, you guys are involved in a lot of NIL stuff, and I don't know if you know this about me, but I ran the most notable sports agency in the world, and then a Hall of Fame quarterback and I, Warren Moon, had a huge sports marketing company, and we fought so college kids and high school kids could market themselves, from Matt Leinart way back when and beyond. But the WWE, I think they're getting it right when it comes to having an NIL program. What were some of the aspects of their program that attracted you to the WWE NIL program?
I think the WWE in general, health and fitness, it's entertainment, and it's also something that Hannah and I always watched growing up. So I think that when they reached out, it was really exciting to see, just because it's like, oh, that's so cool, and they embody health, fitness, entertainment. That's something Hannah and I are truly passionate about. So yeah, it's been a great partnership, and we're excited to see what's to come with them. Yes, I think also going off what Haley said, it's also very, like, there is some competition to it, and being former athletes, that's what we thrived off of for so long. So like Haley said, we've been going to a lot of their events. We're going to the training facility very soon, so we're excited to see that. And stay tuned, because there's definitely exciting things coming.
Oh yeah, I always say wrestling is real. The outcome may be predetermined, but it's real. And there's some incredible athletes participating, as well as some incredible entertainers when it comes to content that you guys are really going to enjoy, and I think fit in there as well. Now, basketball has played an integral role in your lives. And believe it or not, I played college sports. I know I don't look like it, but I did. It was a long time ago. But when my college career ended, it was like my first death. And I've dealt with a lot of professional athletes. When their careers end, it's like their first death. So one of the hardest parts of being an athlete at a competitive level is you get to live two deaths instead of one. For you, how has that transition been from the amount of time, energy, emotion that goes into being, you guys are super. So I was an average college guy, but how, is that transition where your whole life really was dedicated to your performance in school, and now you have all this free time, but there's a big hole probably that needs to be filled?
I would say for me personally, I don't know if it's quite hit me yet. I think that I needed a break after this season. Obviously, it was very long. Going to the Elite Eight was a lifetime experience. But obviously that season was very long. And I think I just kind of needed a break with my family and just be able to travel and, make your own schedule. And I think it hasn't really hit me yet, but I definitely will miss the competition. I think I'm very passionate about other things right now outside of basketball, but definitely I'll always miss the competition. And what a way to go out. So
yeah, amazing.
I think for me, it was really hard for me, just because I think the transition from playing basketball at the best level, at the highest level, on the biggest stage, was always a dream of Hannah and I's. And without COVID, we would have been done regardless. So really thinking about my fifth year and understanding if I wanted to go back. Hannah made the decision, she didn't, so it took me a while. But I think that all good things have to come to an end. And I'm so excited for this next chapter. Obviously, I'll always miss it. I always love the game so much. It's been such a big part of our lives for so long. But I'm really excited to see what the future holds with us too, and just this next chapter we can go together.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be super successful. One of the reasons I wanted you guys, beyond your popularity, to be on the podcast is I have one of my favorite statements of success, and you guys really are emblematic of that statement, which is I look for people like you that enjoy the consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit pursuit of your own potential, whether it was on the court or off the court. It seemed that you both are extremely consistent and persistent. Uh, is that a correct image I should have? And two, did that play a real important part in your success?
Oh, absolutely. I think that we're very disciplined people. I think it kind of, obviously the sport basketball taught us that, but I think it contributes to every aspect of our lives. And that's why I'm so thankful for college athletics, because it truly makes the transition into the business world or into your health and fitness journey so much more seamless, because you already have that discipline and that consistency of what to expect from yourself. So I don't know. I don't think without college sports, I would be as consistent or disciplined. So I'm super grateful for that. Yeah, I think going off what Hannah said, yeah, we're very consistent. And I'm just a very big person of routine and consistency and discipline. Like that's how I thrive the best in life. And I think college and playing basketball in sports has taught that to Hannah and I at a young age. And you can apply that to all parts of your lives throughout your next chapter. So that's what Hannah and I do. And that's how we consistency and like the routine every single day is helps us like go. So
Yeah, it's a superpower. People ask me all the time, my number one superpower, and it's definitely consistency. I don't have nearly the skills or knowledge, but just a lot of desire to really enjoy everything every day, which seems to be the brand and image that I have noted when I found you two and was so impressed. Now there's so many different kinds of quote unquote influencers, and I prefer a term, I call it the influencers, people that aren't spreading dis-ease. They're trying to empower people. They're trying to inspire people. So I prefer to call you two my influencers than influencers. But there are a lot of tricks to building a brand in that space as either an influencer or as an influencer. What are some of the pieces of advice that you may give other young women athletes, especially if they want to build a community, build a brand, and have influence?
I would say make sure you stay true to who you are. That will show within your audience, no matter what. I think obviously being twins helped us, just kind of just showing people that our sport, but also the huge, like you said, consistency. You know, posting, connecting with your audience on all different platforms is what we try to do. And yeah, just showing people like what you love and what you're truly passionate about. I think that also like being a female athlete and learning in like a male's world. Me and Hannah pride ourselves on our champs deal as like being the first female athletes to sign with them. So I think showing younger girls, if you prioritize like the right things, you can be successful, even if you're not like a male 5-star quarterback throughout college and beyond years. So I pride ourselves on that as well.
Awesome. Now I'm asked a little different question. Hopefully no one's asked you this before, but Haley, if I was going to ask you, and let's say that I wanted to go out with your sister, you're meeting a guy your age, and he says, well, tell me about your sister, what would you say?
Great question. Hannah is the most loyal, protective, and hardworking person like I know. Like I always call her my twinager because I'm very like nonchalant and kind of go with the flow, but like without her, she's on top of everything and make sure everything is always going to a T. So I would just say that, and she's all about family. So that's what I would say.
And vice versa, Hannah, what would you say?
I would say Haley is the most disciplined person. She's gonna love as hard as she can, no matter if she just met you yesterday or a year ago. She like has the biggest heart I know. Is so caring, and I think that she'll run you over if you do her wrong. So I'd let them know that one.
You both can come work for me, that's for sure.
Let's talk.
Yeah, right on. Well, I got some deals. Here's one I asked my daughters as well. If both of you like the same person, what would you do? If you both like the same person?
I think that's something that's different about Hannah and I. We have different tastes, and Hannah always picks the right guy. So. I choose very right, and I've only had to choose once, so I'm proud of myself on that one too.
That's so good.
So I would let Hannah ask me. I would say if we're fighting over one guy, I'd probably let like Haley take him, probably because he's not worth fighting over. Like I would just never do that. There's no way. There's no way.
Trust me, there's no guy that's worth fighting over. And that's coming from a guy. I tell my daughter's boyfriends all the time, I'm like, man, we'd be best friends when I was 19. And he's like, really, Mr. Meltzer? I'm like, not a good thing. So there's no guy worth fighting over. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Now there's a lot of changes in different platforms, different marketing, NIL, continually growing. Do you see the marketing and brand building that exists in social media today? Do you think it's still in the early adopter phase, or do you think we've reached chasm, or do you think it's, you shouldn't get in, it's past its biggest days?
I think that, no, I think it's going to continue to still grow. Even you saw with the March Madness tournament, especially on the female side, all these successful females are now getting brand deals, and that's such a win. So I think being able to just continue for all NIL athletes to capitalize off of it, all college athletes deserve this. So I'm super excited to see the more it progresses and what it looks like. Yeah, I think going off what Kaylee said, like you said, I mean, I think there was an early stage on different apps, right? Like TikTok was very booming during COVID and quarantine, obviously, when there was not a lot going on and you had to quarantine and be with your family. I think that's when it kind of started. And I think just different apps are continuously evolving, and that allows athletes to get on them. I don't think social media is ever going away. So I think for that, if you're in that space, obviously being able to capitalize off that is huge.
Yeah, I think there's so many opportunities. I still think we're in the early adopter stage. I think there's been a lot of startups, early adopting companies. But if you look in a traditional sense at the size, scope, and scale of how many companies are either dipping their toe or haven't dipped their toe yet, that you're going to see big industry and big verticals, airlines, automobile, big manufacturing companies that are going to take and start dripping away TV dollars into twins like you and others like you, because you get so much more engagement. And it's, like you said, so real when someone does have the humility and vulnerability of being yourself and inspiring people. Last question real quick. A lot of times when you're old like me, people ask me, Dave, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? So I'm going to switch it around. Probably guarantee this will be the third time nobody's asked you this. But what do you guys think you would tell your 55-year-old self?
So if I was 55, what I would tell my younger self? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but no. Today, if you could talk to what you think you're going to be like when you're 55, what advice would you give yourself?
I would just say, don't react so quick, expand your perspective, and there's highs and lows in life. I would say, I would say, stay patient. All good things are going to come your way. Consistency and discipline will get you the furthest in life. Don't live life with regret.
I think you guys got a book in your future, because those are really great lessons for all ages, especially for 55-year-old mutant turtles like me. It's been a pleasure to meet both of you. Everybody, check out Twin Talk. It'll be coming back out. Check out these two amazing athletes, influencers, great brand. And if you want to join a community of people who really want to help each other and know people that can help each other, Haley and Hannah Cavinder, they're definitely the twins for you. Thank you again for joining me. This is David Meltzer with Entrepreneurs, the Playbook.